Way down we go. So way down we go. Way down we go. Whoa, you let your feet run wild. Thomas, come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the fall, ooh, my heart, do you dare to look me right in the eyes? Yeah. Oh, 'cause say we run you down to the door. Yeah, someday we run you down till you fall. And they will run you down till you go. Yeah, till you can't grow no more. And where down we go, where down we go. Say where down we go. Oh, 'cause say we run you down to your car.
Welcome, everybody. How are you guys? I know we're starting a little bit early, so we're just going to waste a little bit of time here. I'm usually like 7:10, 7:15. So the people that are usually a little bit late aren't even here yet. So we're just going to talk for a couple of minutes and not really do too much until they do get here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Third live this week. I was going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then I realized that Monday, Wednesday, Saturday was better for my schedule. So that's what we did. Got a lot going on. Hopefully we could get through it. I know Trump comes on probably around 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, which is in a little less than an hour. So I'm going to do my best to run through some things. Maybe we'll do a short Q&A. Relatively short live tonight, just so you guys know. I'm going to do my best to cover as much as I could in that short period of time. I've got a lot going on. Obviously, we had a really, really hectic week with, by hectic, I mean good, with precious metals. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. We're going to talk about what the heck's going on with Iran and Israel and why we should have expected this. And what happens next with that whole situation in the Middle East as well. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, I've said this many times before, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And truthfully, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your continued support, especially through all the attacks that I've been through lately. And even over the last 4 years, you know, it's been relentless, obviously, but no one's bringing me down. I think everyone knows that by now. They could keep trying if they want to, but that's just going to end up bad on them. So love you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. And for those of you newcomers, my name is Phil Godlewski. I am a special military agent in the intelligence quadrant. But that is my name. So what was that thing we played one time? Truth, truth, lie, 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 truth. Well, that was definitely a lie. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, never know. Anyway, why don't we do a shout out? Tell me where you guys are from. Can't look over here, so I'm gonna look over here because this one goes way too fast on Rumble Studio. Fairfax. Well, I can barely see. Let me turn up the brightness. There we go. Fairfax, Vermont. Salt Lake City, Utah. Aledo, Texas. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Chandler, Arizona. Topeka, Kansas. Salina, Kansas. Holland, Massachusetts. Adelaide, Australia. Boca Raton, Florida. Ohio, Denmark, Jefferson, Georgia. Brookings, South Tacoma, home of the Jackrabbits. Leroy, Michigan. Vancouver. 60 miles south of Homosassa, Florida. Not Homo's ass, but if you spell it the wrong way, it will come out Homo's ass. Very, very small little spelling error. And instead of Homosassa, you end up with Homo's ass. No one wants to live in a Homo's ass. I don't want to live in a home. Nick Alvear, that's a different story. You never know about that. I can't help myself. Morgantown, West Virginia. Blossburg, Pennsylvania. Ocala, Florida. North Carolina. Columbus, Ohio. Mesquite, Texas. Evergreen, Colorado. Van Buren, Ohio. Martinez, California. Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Deer Island, Oregon. New Columbia, Pennsylvania. Hanover, Virginia. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Emory, Texas. Rutledge, Tennessee. Fresno, California. Denver, North Carolina. That's different. Hudson, New York. Welcome from the hello from the Netherlands. Mitchell, South Dakota. Ohio. Sierra Vista, Arizona. Isle of Man, New Holland, Pennsylvania. Amarillo, Texas. Frederick, Maryland. Halifax, Virginia. Tarpon Springs, Florida. Brisbane, Australia. Tokyo, Japan. Honolulu, Hawaii. Trying to find some new ones here that I don't say often. Racine, Wisconsin. Jefferson, Georgia. Columbus, Georgia. Waterford, Pennsylvania. Holland. Denmark. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. One more. Give me a good one. They're all good. UK. Okay. All right. Across the pond. Friendsville, Pennsylvania. Well, not on that one because that's kind of cool. Friendsville. Like everyone's friends in Friendsville. Get it? What if you're not friends with your neighbor, though? What if you lived in Friendsville and you and your neighbor just hated each other so much? Would you have to move? Wouldn't both of you have to move, or at least one of you would have to move, right? I don't know. I don't know how it goes. I don't know if there's rules for that kind of thing either, honestly. There might be. Probably not, though. All right, cool. Thank you guys for coming in. As you can see, we always have a global audience. We reach all the way across flat Earth, and we grab people from each and every single sector of the flat Earth map. So thank you guys for tuning in. Truly appreciate it. Geez, I don't know. Let's talk about metals first. What a wild week for metals, man! What a great couple weeks to be involved with precious metals, right? We can't keep people off the calendar. And just so you guys know, I have two different companies set up for you guys to get involved. Even if you're the average everyday person and you don't know anything about precious metals, you can still get involved. I have two companies set up for that. The first one is goldquiz.com. Goldquiz.com will very easily help you take your money out of the stock market, out of that fiat-backed currency, that fiat dollar. Get it out of there and put it into metal. Very, very easy. All you got to do is go to goldquiz.com. Link is down below in the description. Answer about 4 or 5 questions. Takes about 30 seconds. Then you sign up for an appointment with the experts at Gold Quiz. I partner with several people in the precious metals industry, several industry experts in the industry, to help you guys roll over a 401k, a 403b, an IRA, or a bunch of other different kind of retirement accounts. In addition to that, you could also take savings that you have now. This is new, and through an EFT transfer, buy bulk precious metals and have them shipped directly to you, or vaulted, but you could have them shipped directly to you. Conversely, on the other side of that, same side of the different side of the same token, I guess, if you want to say is the phrase, philsilver.com. Link is also down below. That helps the everyday person get fractional gold and silver. When you sign up for an appointment with philsilver.com, we're going to enroll you into a company called 7K Metals. They will automatically get you set up with a wallet that is called your Sound Money wallet. You could put any amount of money in there that you want and buy any amount of gold or silver that you want with a click of a button instantaneously. So let's say you're on a budget, right? And at the end of the week, you only have 20 bucks left over, 50 bucks left over, $75, whatever it may be. You only have that much left over. You go to your Sound Money wallet, boom, buy fractional gold or silver, however much you want. Could be the smallest denomination, could be the largest denomination. That money stays in your Sound Money wallet. You could convert it back to cash whenever you want. You could convert gold to silver, silver to gold, either of those things to the dollar. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but makes it very, very simple. You also get, with Phil Silver and 7K Metals, a coin of the month. A numismatic coin. Could be a Silver Eagle if you want it. Could be something one of 7K Select Series. Super, super awesome stuff happening over at 7K Metals, and much more to come. I'm going to be announcing a lot more on 7K Metals soon. So both of those links are down below. Got that out of the way. If you haven't gotten there yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. You saw the future of the metals market last week. We were literally sitting on the edges of our seats on Friday, yesterday, waiting for that price to close over $30 an ounce for silver. And we were threatening $2,500 an ounce for gold. That's never happened before with gold. Never. Silver's now at a decade high. We've been talking about this for 4 years. I've been trying to get people involved in metals. My metals alone, just what I hold privately, whether it's in vaults or in my person, I have storage units, I have, safes all over the place. My metals alone, both my gold and silver, in the last 14 days have gone up $18 million in value in 14 days. Now, I hold a lot of metal, a lot. I'm not even going to tell you the exact denominations, but I bet you could do the math. I'm not saying that everybody's going to go up $18 million, but what I am saying is you got to start somewhere. Otherwise, you're never going to get involved. So I expect huge things out of the metals market next week based on everything that's happening. And now we got a war going on, apparently, or maybe not apparently. We'll talk about that in a minute. But regardless of that, we got missiles flying. And when that happens, one of the number one things that gets irritated is the stock market. They don't like that kind of stuff. And as the stock market goes down, which we watched happen all week last week, as the stock market goes down, boom, metals go up. Happened all week last week. They were talking about inflation. They were talking about rates not being adjusted downward like the Fed said they were going to be in 2024. All of this stuff contributes to the price of precious metals: gold, silver, palladium, platinum, copper, and everything else, right? Now, in addition to that, I let go of some intel this past week. I believe it was Wednesday, during Wednesday's live, that Donald Trump has signed the United States into BRICS. Now, you may say, well, why would Donald Trump sign the United States into a foreign nation's currency system? Well, that's not what BRICS is. That's what the general public thinks BRICS is. But BRICS is Nasera. BRICS is Nasera Jacera. It's just a front. It's just like a facade that they put over the top of it. And they're calling it something else for now. And meanwhile, all these nations are getting ready. All these nations are hoarding their gold and their silver, and they're getting ready for a precious metals backed currency. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you have a retirement account, like a 401k or like an IRA, you give your money to a custodian. It could be Northwestern Mutual. It could be Charles Schwab. Could be Bank of America, could be a whole bunch of different companies that take, your money, as well as everybody else that works at your company, plus a bunch of other companies, and they pool that money. They put it all together in one big account, kind of like a hedge fund. And they take that money and they invest it. You know where they invest it primarily? The stock market. So you may, right now, chances are you do. It's a good 85 to 90% chance that your 401k or IRA is invested in the stock market. Is that where you want your retirement funds? If the answer is yes, ignore everything I'm saying. If the answer is no, you have a decision to make. Do you get it out of there while the writing's on the wall and you see what's happening? Or do you just let it ride and be like, the white hats are never going to, I'm just going to listen to what I hear on the news. Okay. It's fine. Listen to what you hear in the news. But could you afford it when it's $100 an ounce? Talking about silver. Could you afford gold when it's $5,000 an ounce? If you can, then don't worry about it. But if you can't and you want to get involved, the best thing that happened last week was silver stopped at 28 something an ounce, and gold stopped at 24 something an ounce, 2,400 something an ounce. I thought it was going to hit 30, and come Monday morning, that shit would have flew. So you got yourself the weekend to make some appointments and get yourself in line. The calendar is very, very booked for both goldquiz.com and philsilver.com. But try to find an opening and get yourself on there. For today and tomorrow only, I have opened my Telegram chat room. Very rarely that I do that. Sometimes once a month, sometimes not even once a month. My Telegram chat room is open. The link to the Telegram chat room is down below. It's in the description of both Rumble and Locals. If you aren't on Rumble or Locals, get over to Rumble or Locals if you want to be involved in that chat room. It's basically like a group chat room. At any given time, we have anywhere between 5,000 to 20,000 active members. And right now it's hovering between 50 and 55,000 members overall. So not all those people are active at all times, obviously, but it's a nice place to go if you are a like-minded patriot and you want to talk about things like we talk about on my show or other things. We do have rules. It is a private chat room. So if you're going to go in there and belittle people or talk down to people or just act like an asshole in general, you're going to get muted or you could get banned permanently. So if you're not, into those rules and you think that, oh, free speech, Phil has to offer free speech. No, I don't. It's a private platform and I make the rules. So if you're going to go in there and be dramatic, or if you're going to go in there and be Debbie Downer to everybody else who's clinging for hope right now, I don't want you there to begin with. But if you're not going to do that and you could actually get along with people and you want to talk about things on a daily basis with a like-minded group of patriots, there's the link. I do have moderators in there that watch the chat at all times of the day. I watch the chat sometimes too during the day. And we will watch the comments and we will watch, for anybody breaking the rules. There is a list of rules in the chat room that's posted, that's pinned to the top of the chat room. My mods will actually share it for you as well. So link to that is in the description of this video. I'm not going to put it anywhere here on the screen. It's going to be in the description of the video. So if you look at the Rumble video where it says Israel, April 13, 2024, then it starts to say, are you enjoying this video? Then it says Phil returns amidst the crazy week. You have to hit show more to expand the description. And then right there, you will see, where is it? Is it not there? Oh, it's there. Chat link temporary. And you'll also see there, I might as well change these real quick right now too, since I just noticed that they're not hyperlinks. Also, while you're down there in that description, you will see the links for both goldquiz.com as well as philsilver.com. I just made them hyperlinks in the description. They weren't hyperlinks before, and now they are. Well, they will be in a moment. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. I didn't realize I didn't hyperlink them before. Stupid. There you go. All right, now they're all hyperlinks. You could just click on them instead of doing a copy and paste. And it should take you to any of those. So, okay. What else is there to talk about? Let's see. Something else I wanted to mention. Oh, for rolling over a 401k or an IRA, one thing I didn't mention in last week's live. Right now, one of my partners with goldquiz.com is offering $10,000 worth of free silver for a qualifying account. Now, there's a couple different qualification factors. You'll have to talk to them about what those factors are, because truthfully, I don't know. But $10,000 for free silver if you do roll over. So really, really good offer right now, especially with what the price of silver is and what we anticipate it to go to. Getting $10,000 worth of free silver is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So you'll do that by rolling over a qualifying IRA or 401k with goldquiz.com. Again, link is down below. Okay. All right. So what do we think? What do we think is going on with Israel and Iran? First of all, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to catch us up here a little bit on the news that you may have missed. Joe Biden recently, within the last couple months or so, made available to Iran something like $100 billion worth of assets, something like that. 100 billion, 100 million, who cares? It's a lot of money, right? In addition to that, he just recently gave them $6 billion. This is Joe Biden cooperating with Iran, and now Iran is going after Israel. There's the problem with that. Israel, remember Blinken went over to Iran and said, oh, yeah, we're going to release all this stuff for you. Okay, the first thing that they did, they're firing at Israel. Now, here's the problem with that. Israel is supposed to be an ally of the United States. So now you have Blinken and Biden, these two idiots, right? Giving money and assets away to a country who's now attacking their ally. What's the United States do? Do we sit by and watch? What are you supposed to do at this point? The missiles are in the air. Biden said he wasn't addressing the nation tonight. What's the U.S. going to do? Doesn't matter. Weren't we told years ago that we were saving Israel for last? Shouldn't we be completely unsurprised that this type of thing is happening right now? Why wouldn't it be happening right now? I just revealed this past week that Donald Trump signed the United States into BRICS. Did I not? That is one of the last steps before Nasera Jahara gets revealed. You guys know that, right? There's not much left. If we were eating a piece of chicken and we're just nibbling at it for 4 years, we're down to the bone. There's not much meat left on the bone. There's a couple tendons that look like meat. They might be meat. They might not be. We got to bite them to find out and chew into them. If they're too chewy, spit it back out. But honestly, we're at the end of the rope. We've been at the end of the rope for a while. And I guess what aggravated people like me that are a little bit more in the know than the average person, what aggravated me is knowing we were at the end of the rope, but we couldn't get to the end of the rope. Like we're there, we're within reach of the end of the rope, but we're not actually doing anything, right? Now we're still at the end of the rope, but now we actually see things happening, right? Oh, wait. This one just said my mods suck, so I'm just gonna mute him forever. That was fun. Yeah, we're at the end of it. So there's not much left to happen. We have Trump initiating BRICS. Now we have Iran going after Israel. The United States is going to have to do something, but you know what happens if the United States tries to defend Israel, right? Come on. Who gets involved? Tell me. You guys know. Who gets involved if the United States tries to defend Israel right now against Iran? And you should know this because I've talked about it just a couple months ago. What did I say? Who gets involved if the United States starts to defend Israel? Russia. Russia. Why? Because Russia and Iran are allies. So and Putin just said it. I thought I had this on Do Not Disturb. I do. That's weird. Russia. Putin just said it. Putin just recognized Iran as an ally. So now you have a situation where Iran, because of Biden and Blinken, send an attack to Israel, which is the United States ally, I guess, right? Or so they tell you, right? Then you have Russia saying, well, Iran's our ally. So now if the United States goes there, you know who else goes there? Russia. You think the United States wants to get involved with Russia and Putin? No. Now, secretly and behind the scenes, we know that Russia, the United States, and China are leading a global alliance against the cabal, against the deep state. So what you're seeing right now, let me just play this out for you. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know quite when this happened. Okay. I don't know if it was right after the election, shortly into Biden's term as fake president, or sometime recently. Truthfully, I don't know. I was never told. Okay. But what I do know is that this is what it is. Biden is no longer controlled by the cabal. He was for a short period of time, but he's not now. And as I mentioned many times before in this program, the cabal has very little power over anything. They don't have money because they're getting sucked dry from everything that they possibly could. Their central banking system is failing worldwide, not just in the United States. They are completely inebriated. Completely. You know how Biden walks around the stage and he doesn't know what he's doing ever? That's kind of how the cabal is right now. It's a really great metaphor to give you an idea of what the cabal is like. So somewhere along the line, the white hats got a hold of this president. and the DOJ and the Department of State and everything else. The White Hats are completely in control of all that now. And at some point, Trump and the alliance started pulling strings, big time political strings, like the ones to release assets to Iran. I firmly believe that that was a white hat operation. Let's give them money. Let's give them assets. Let's free up stuff for them with the promise that they go after who? Israel. Why Israel? Why would the white hats want Iran if they were going to be given any sort of money? Why would they want Iran to go after Israel? Because Israel is not the United States' ally. Israel is a playground for the cabal. It's the cabal's military in the Middle East. It's the cabal's everything. It's the cabal's government. It's like if you had to say, form a state or a country and tell us that that state or country is completely run by the cabal. That's Israel. It's the headquarters of the cabal. Always has been. That's why Israel's always been such an ally to the United States. Look back at every cabal presidency that there's been, going all the way back to JFK, right? And you tell me that Israel has not been an ally of the United States. That's because every president since him, with the exception of Reagan and Trump, were cabal. So do you envision a scenario where this makes sense? White hats go in and be like, yeah, let's release some assets to Iran with the promise that if we do, they're going to go after Israel. And then we know that our military, United States military, isn't going to do anything to defend Israel, because if they do, Russia gets involved and then boom, World War III, right? So I don't see I'd see the United States issuing some strong statements such as, if these attacks don't cease against Israel, we are going to show military force. And then they're probably going to move some ships around in the Middle East and there's going to be threats. Are they going to actually get involved? Absolutely not. No way. Because then Putin comes down, rears his forces, and then you're not fighting for Israel, you're fighting against Russia. The United States can't afford to do that right now. In any scenario, black hat, white hat, cabal, non-cabal, the United States doesn't have the money to get into a world war. They don't have the money. They don't have any money at all. Not only are the citizens broke, but the country's broke. The country of the United States that we live in, that most of us live in, that are in this live stream tonight, is teetering on bankruptcy. You know what happens if Russia decides to defend Israel? You know who else gets involved? China. You want to go to war with 1 billion Chinese? No, you don't. That's why Biden isn't going to say anything tonight. He's not even going to come on the news. He's not even going to say a word tonight. They called him off the beach, called him back to the White House. Now he's going to sleep. It's his bedtime anyway, 7:30 Eastern. So this is all just a setup. It's all exactly what we thought it was going to be. That's why my first reaction on Telegram earlier to my announcements channel was E-Bomb's World. So this is the Earth. It's chilling. Damn, what the sweet Earth, you say. Wrong. Okay, so ruling out, the ice caps melting, meteors becoming crashed into us, the ozone layer leaving us. We are definitely going to blow ourselves up. Okay. It's like E-Bomb predicted this back in the 90s. For the love of everything holy. Like, this is all, can't you see how scripted this is? Can't you see, like, this is, okay, and then you also have Kash Patel, right? Remember I said watch Kash Patel? I said that like 4 years ago. Remember that? Before anyone knew his name at all? I said, keep your eyes on this guy. His name's Kash Patel. You have Kash Patel going to Truth Social, right? And putting out a truth. This is like 3 or 4 days ago, and said, everybody, where is it? Let me find it. I shared it. I want to know exactly what he said. Hold on. I don't want to like read it roundabout. I want to read exactly what he said. There you go. This was 2 days ago. Joe Biden, this is from Kash Patel on Truth Social. Joe Biden gave Iran over $6 billion. Remember that in the days to come. Did he know? Why would he say that? Why would why would he now be bringing up $6 billion that Biden and Blinken gave to Iran 2 days before anyone knew that these rockets from Iran were going to fly to Israel? You can't see that this is all one big game? You can't see this is all one big script? I know what it seems like in the news. I know what it seems like. I know it seems like it's doom and gloom, World War III, and then you're going to have all of these other broadcasters out there saying, oh, we're headed for World War III. We're headed for World War III, everybody. You better pack your shit. World War III is coming. No, it isn't. No, it's not coming. Is there going to be a threat of a World War III? Yeah. You're living through the threat right now. This is the threat. But is it going to develop into a World War III? I already see certain truthers saying, oh, you better, if your kids are 18 to 25, you better keep them at home because Biden's going to initiate a draft. No, he isn't. May he talk about it? Maybe. But you're watching a movie. Like, this is just... Don't get caught up in what you believe is the reality of events. Don't get caught up in that, because it's very easy to go on a certain Telegram channel or go on a certain website or URL and say, hey, this is what's happening. I don't know what Phil's talking about, but no, I've literally... Go back and find the live that I talked about Russia getting involved with Israel if the United States came in. Go back and find that live. I talked about it 2 or 3 months ago. Kash Patel gave you a warning on Truth Social that said, hey, remember Biden did that. And then what, 2 days later, they launch? How stupid is the launch anyway? Let's talk about the actual launch of the Iran missiles at Israel. Iran launches the missiles, right? And then puts out a public service announcement and says, hey, we launched the missiles. They are coming. Fire sheet. Right? Just like E-Bombs World. They launched the missiles. And then they put out a PSA that says, hey, we launched the missiles to be there in 9 hours. What military does that? Are you kidding me? You're going to launch at a country? You're going to launch a major military operation at a country, and then you're going to put out a social media or a mainstream media broadcast that you did so, and that, by the way, you got 9 hours before they get there. When I say that out of my mouth, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an absolute idiot when I say the reality of what's happening. That's how idiotic this whole thing is. And I don't say idiotic like, oh, I hate it. Like, it's idiotic. It's just idiotic that you think that what you see is actually happening. This is all a game. This is all a joke. This is all pre-planned, pre-scripted. And it's controlled by the white hats. And not just the white hats, but the World Alliance. Putin's got his hand on this. Xi's got his hand on this. Trump's got his hand on this. Who knows what side Netanyahu's on now? Who knows? Maybe he flipped. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. He might be in on the whole thing. He's probably on a beach somewhere in Israel watching the things go over his head. Be like, yeah, I know, but there's nothing in them. I don't know. Maybe they're going to show us actual drone strikes. Maybe they're going to show us actual bombings. How do we know where the bombings are? Are they actually going to be in Israel? How do you know? How would you know? You wouldn't. And that's the point. The point is that you literally can't believe anything that you see right now. You can't believe what's going on in Iran versus Israel. You can't believe the actual price of metals. The prices that we see are just fraudulent. Gold right now should be about $5,000 an ounce. I'm sorry, silver right now should be about $5,000 an ounce, with gold being about $10,000. Is it? No, it's suppressed. Why? Because the big bank cabal institutions have short squeezes on the metals market. I said this on Telegram the other day. I don't know how many of you seen it, so I'm going to repeat it again. For every $1, follow me here. For every $1 that the price of silver goes up. So right now it's 28 something. Let's say it goes to 29 something, up $1. Let me check that math. Yeah, 1. So $1. Every $1 that it goes up, Bank of America loses $800 million. Now look what's happened over the last 7 to 10 days. Silver's gone from 24 something to 29 something, right? A $5 difference in spot price. 5 times 800 million is $4 billion in 1 week. How do you take down the banking industry? You got it. That's how you do it. And guess what? When Bank of America fails, there's quite a few banks right behind them. Charles Schwab is one of them. Citibank is another one. There's going to be one bank that survives. One bank and one bank only. We only need one. And then we'll spurn off of that one. There's only going to be one. But you were looking at a major collapse of the banking industry. Major. Now, let me tell you what happens to your money if your bank fails. Let's say you have $10,000 in a savings account, some sort of CD in your bank, whatever. Let's say you have it in a lockbox in your local bank. Let's say your local bank is actually run by a Wells Fargo or by a Citibank or by a Bank of America. If that bank becomes insolvent, do you know what happens to your money? You lose it. You don't get it back. Read your customer agreement. Every one of the customer agreements say the same thing. If this bank becomes insolvent, we have the right to keep all of your possessions. You signed it. You did. If you have a bank account, you signed it. You already agreed to that. You told them, hey, if you guys go bankrupt and you lose everything because of bad decisions that you made or bad partners that you partner with, such as the cabal over the years, if you guys lose everything and I have my money with you, I lose everything too. It's okay. Here you go. Here's my signature. Take my money now, please. That's what you did. Do you not know that? Go read your banking information. Go read your banking agreement that you signed with your current bank. That is exactly what it says. Every one of them say the same thing. There's not a bank out there that will allow you to do business with them unless you sign that. Read the insolvency clause. Read what happens if your bank becomes insolvent. You lose everything. Forget about FDIC insurance. Forget about that because that doesn't apply to insolvency. So for those, look at, I could sell my metal now, and I could walk away with about a $40 million profit since the time I started collecting. 18 million in the last, couple weeks. And I'll never see you guys again. I'm 40 years old. You better trust between the assets that I have now and the cash out that I could do for my gold and silver, I don't need anything else. Nope. I will make that 40 million last. And not only will I make it last for me, but I'll make it last for my kids' generation too. All 4 of my kids. And they will be very happy and very healthy and very wealthy forever. You think I'm setting up these websites because I want to make a few thousand more or a few 100,000 more or a few million more? I don't care. I don't care. Truthfully, I don't even care where you buy your metal. You want to buy your metal on another website? Go ahead. I've made it easy for you. And I partnered with the industry leaders to make it bing, bang, boom. Get in, click the website, put in your details. Somebody calls you. They're nice. You get it. Boom. It's over. Right? You want to go purchase it somewhere else with somebody that I don't trust? That's up to you. You can do that. I don't care. I've done this because I want you guys to be in the position that I'm in right now. Okay. I'm hearing Trump's on. I could try to simulcast it. Let me see if I can do that. Hang on one sec. You guys want me to simulcast Trump, or do you want me to do a Q&A? What do you think? You guys tell me. Simulcast Trump or Q&A? I could do one of the two. Yes. Simulcast. Yes. 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 Okay, that's what I'll do. All right, here we go. I'm sure that the audio is going to be a little bit off. So, oh, look at that. I have a larger audience than Trump does on RSPN. That's great. Not for long. I'm sure it's going to go up, right? Maybe not. Might not go up. I don't know. Who knows? All right, let's do presentation mode, share screen. Guys, just, just to reiterate what I'm saying, get your money out of the fiat dollar. Come on. I mean, for crying out loud, get your money out of the fiat dollar. This is ridiculous, and you are going to lose money. It's going to happen. And if it's a family member that needs to talk to me directly or one of my experts directly, fine, I'll help. But for crying out loud, don't do this to yourself. Don't let the cabal lose what you've made yourself over the years. Don't let them take your wealth. Can you guys hear it?
I want to say God bless the people of Israel. They're under attack right now. That's because we show great weakness. It would not happen. The weakness that we've shown is unbelievable, and it would not have happened if we were in office. You know that. They know that. Everybody knows that. But America prays for Israel. We send our absolute support to everyone in harm's way. This is an attack that would not have happened. I mean, to think about what we have to go through and the things we put up with the border, with no energy independence, with all electric cars. Would everybody like to buy an electric car for the rest of your life? But we will return the world to peace through strength, and it'll happen very quickly. I will revive American strength abroad, and we will restore American strength at home. We were respected 4 years ago all over the world. Today, we are considered a joke. It's not going to be for long. Believe me, it's not going to be for long. We will quickly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world like we had it just 4 years ago. It was just announced that inflation is once again raging. It's close to 4% again. Here we go. When I left office, we had virtually no inflation. First of all, Crooked Joe, he claimed inflation was transitory. Remember that? Then he said it was temporary. Then he said it won't happen. It really won't happen. And then he said, well, it's much higher than expected. And then the supply chains closed. And then the energy went through the roof. Putin, they called it Putin price hikes. It wasn't only Putin. It was Putin and plenty of other things that Biden got wrong. Because frankly, with Putin, Ukraine would have never happened. Israel attack, both October 7th and today, would have never happened. Then he blamed price gouging and junk fees. But all of America knows that the real blame for this nightmare lies with one person, Crooked Joe Biden, as crooked as you can get. That's why the people of Pennsylvania are going to tell Crooked Joe, you're fired. Get out. You're fired. One of the leading drivers of Biden's inflation disaster is his war on American energy, and Pennsylvania energy is our big problem.
Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe! Genocide Joe!
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. He's done everything wrong. Think of it. We've been in this mess together for 3.5 years. Only a little more than 6 months until that most important day in the history of our country, November 5th. Think of that. But what has he done that's good? Nothing. Has anything that he's done turned out? Everything he touches turns to shit. True. That's true. Under Biden, gasoline prices are up over 50%, and electricity prices are up 39%, rising 13 times faster than under the previous, think of that, 13 times faster than under the previous 7 years. When I'm back in the White House, we will end Joe Biden's inflation train wreck, and we will tell Pennsylvania, drill, baby, drill. Get back to drilling. Under my leadership, we had energy independence, and soon we would have had energy dominance. We were going to be dominant. We were bigger than Russia. We were bigger than Saudi Arabia. And then he stopped. But then he started again. He went back to Trump policies because the price started going up so high. But the day after the election, first of all, if he wins, our country is going to be destroyed. The day after the election, if he wins, he will stop drilling and he'll go back to wind, which doesn't work. He'll go back to all sorts of things that don't work. And they've proven that. When it comes to Biden, he launched an extremist crusade actually to smash oil and gas. But Pennsylvania is one of the big oil and gas, largely due to me. He wanted to smash it. Biden has imposed a savage natural gas export ban that's putting countless Pennsylvania jobs at risk. He's risking your lives. He's risking your jobs. But he doesn't care because all he cares about is the Green New Scam, the Green New Deal, the Green New Scam. The Green New Scam, one of the biggest hoaxes. Biden's also trying to abolish gasoline-powered automobiles and force everyone into an all-electric car. But I have good news for you, all of you that love those trucks. He wants to make your truck all electric too. No more gasoline powered. On day one, I will terminate Crooked Joe's insane electric vehicle mandate. Gone. Day one. That's going to happen on day one. And I'll end Joe Biden's natural gas export ban on behalf of the people of Pennsylvania who I love. I went to school here, right? I went to school in Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. As we rescue our economy, we will also rescue our democracy. Our democracy is really under siege. Our Second Amendment is under siege, but not with me. It's not. With me, they don't touch it. But our Second Amendment is under siege. Our democracy is under siege because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden loves to say that democracy is on the ballot in this election. If it is, we're going to win in the greatest landslide in history. Because we're the ones who are fighting to save our democracy, and Crooked Joe Biden is the demented tyrant. He's a demented tyrant who is trying to destroy our democracy. 2 days from now, the entire world will witness the commencement of the very first Biden trial. They're all Biden trials. You know that, right? And I'm proud to do it for you. Have a good time watching. Have a good time watching. On Monday in New York City, I will be forced to sit fully gagged. I'm not allowed to talk. Can you believe it? They want to take away my constitutional right to talk. I have a crooked judge. This has never happened before, by the way. You do know that, right? Fully gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge who suffers from TDS. Does anyone know what TDS is? Correct. Trump derangement syndrome. As the radical left Democrat Party seeks to do anything possible to keep me from running and winning in this election. And let me tell you, we're leading by so much, they don't know what's happening. But you know what they'd love to do? I did nothing wrong from day one. I did nothing. You had Russia, you had Ukraine. You had every hoax imaginable. with all of the things they did, with millions of pages of study, they found nothing, which makes me perhaps the most honest guy almost in the world, I think. They found nothing. But like all true communist show trials, this is what you call a communist show trial. And we're going communist, don't kid yourself. We don't win this election, this country is finished. Thank you very much. I love you too. I love you too. That's why I put up with this stuff. Remember, I've been indicted more than Al Capone, the great gangster. I never heard the word indictment. I didn't know. Now, all of a sudden, if I fly over a Democrat state, they call it a blue state, I get subpoenaed before a grand jury. It's horrible. Honestly, it's horrible what they're doing. They're ruining this country. They're destroying the country in every way. There's not a thing he's done that's been good, but this is a case of blatant manipulation of the law and the facts, like Russia, 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 and all of the other hoaxes that we've had to endure. The phony indictment has been torn apart and demolished by legal experts from across the political spectrum. Every single legal expert, without exception, that I can find has said, as an example, Alan Dershowitz said, I've been doing this for 60 years, teaching criminal cases, defending criminal cases, writing about criminal cases, and this is by far the weakest criminal case I've ever seen in my 60 years. There is absolutely nothing here. There is no misdemeanor. There is no felony. There is no federal crime. Every American is in danger if we don't have an objective standard of justice that's equally applicable to all. That's Alan Dershowitz. He's a Democrat. He's no fan of mine. He's a Democrat and a Harvard professor, smart guy, but he's a Democrat. He writes that. Here's another one. Highly respected former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy stated, it would take us an hour just to flush out all of the problems with this case. The premise of this prosecution is falsification. What Bragg, that's Alvin Bragg, he's a Soros-appointed prosecutor. And by the way, crime in New York is at record highs. The violent crime, murders, killings, all of the stuff, muggings, and he leaves them alone. They've got when I go into court over nothing, it's not a crime. When I go into court, they've got like 9 prosecutors, and in the meantime, people that murder, nobody does anything. What Alvin Bragg is trying to do is enforce federal campaign finance law, which he doesn't have any authority whatsoever to do. He's not allowed to finance. And by the way, the federal government looked at it, turned it down. It's a garbage case that he himself rejected a year earlier. When Bragg came into office, he's the district attorney. He said, I'm not doing this case. This case is bullshit. And then what happens? He does the case. And, here's the thing. They could have done this case 7 years ago. You know the way they're trying to rush it? This case would have been fine 7 years ago. Do whatever you want. They do it right smack in the middle of our election campaign. And I talk about our campaign. We want to do it now. And the same thing with deranged Jack Smith, all of these people. These are Biden people. He can't win an election. He can't put 2 sentences together. He can't find the stairs on a platform to walk off after he makes about a 2-minute speech. Here I got 1, 2, 3. I got one in the back. I got them all over the place. He can't find them. He's looking around. Where are the stairs? All they're trying to do, they're weaponizing government. They're trying to harm your favorite president, hurt him, so that we can't win an election. They've weaponized elections like a third world country, like a banana republic. Renowned legal scholar, very smart guy, Jonathan Turley, likewise stated, it's a real Frankenstein case. It's made up of different parts that don't hold together, and it's frightening if this can be replicated in the future. You can't do cases like this. This is an outrage. A veteran New York City attorney told left-wing Rolling Stone magazine, this is a magazine that I've never read, but probably doesn't like Trump. Left-wing is, to put it mildly. This case, they say, this is Rolling Stone. This case is a joke, frankly, and I've litigated against this office for 33 years. This case is an absolute joke. These are people that hate me. They're saying this. Can you imagine if they liked me, how good they'd be? And a liberal Fordham University law professor writing in the New York Times called the case a disaster, a legal embarrassment, and a setback to the rule of law and order, and a really bad thing for New York. And businesses aren't going to move into New York because of what they're doing. Their legal system is shot. It's a joke all over the world. But when I walk into that courtroom, I know I will have the love of 200 million Americans behind me, and I will be fighting for the... That's right. That's right. And I will be fighting for the freedom of 325 million Americans. This election is a choice between the Biden fascist state or the American Republic. It's called, we are going to make this country so great again, and we're going to do it fast. We're going to do it really fast. You know, right now, millions of people are entering our country from prisons, from mental institutions. They're coming from all over the world, all over the world. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote to end the rule of law, and it's a vote to destroy America as you know it. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to save America's future, a vote to save American democracy, and a vote to save American freedom. And as I say, and I've said tonight, and I'll say it again and again, and I mean it so much, you know, when we had a beautiful November day, 2016, we won an election, and people are still angry about it because we weren't anticipated. They rig everything. We weren't anticipated to win that election. And what I've done to insult them is we won that election, and then we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016, getting millions and millions of votes more. But this is going to be really special because I will tell you, 2016, we had spirit like nobody's ever seen before. 2020 blew the spirit away of 2016. We had, not only did we get millions more votes, I think the spirit was even greater. But now, because we've seen how bad they are, added to the fact that you like the job I do, you like the fact that countries respect us, you like the fact that we were energy independent and all of the things. You like the fact that I got you the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And they're going to raise your taxes by 4 times. 4 times. Think of that. Take your taxes and multiply times 4. That's what you're going to be paying if this person gets in. But I say this, and I say it. I said in 2016 that this is going to be the most important election we've ever had. But I say now, because 2016, I won to a certain extent on the border. And then I fixed the border. And when I fixed it, I wanted to make speeches in 2020 about the border. And my people said, sir, but the difference is I listen to myself. I don't listen to anybody. He listens to his people. He listens to his communist handlers, okay? He does whatever they want him to do. But my people did say, sir, they don't want to hear about the border. You fixed it. I said, I want to talk about the border. They said, sir, you fixed it. We went on. We had an unbelievable election, getting millions more votes than we did in 2016. But the election was rigged. The election was rigged. Pure and simple. 2020 was rigged. It was a disgrace. We can never let it happen again. The difference, though, is this is compared to 2016 and the border. This border is 100 times worse. This is the worst border of any country in the history of the world. There has never been a border like this where millions and millions and millions of people are coming in totally unchecked and unvetted. The American people are going to stand up, and they're going to stand up to the lies and the witch hunt and the corruption of Biden. He is the most incompetent president in the history of our country. He is the most corrupt president in the history of our country. And he is the worst president by far in the history of our country. And we have to get him out. On November 5th, we have to get Biden the hell out of office and send him back to wherever he comes from. We have to get him out. Thank you very much. We have to get him out. You know, you look at all the things that are happening, everything, the whole world is ablaze. You know, it's interesting. Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, very strong guy, very strong person. I think happens to be a very good person, but a very strong person, doesn't play games, didn't want any illegal immigrants in his country. You know, then they say, oh, he's such a bad. Well, they asked him 3 weeks ago, what's going on with the world? What's going on? Everybody's fighting. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, the Middle East is blowing up. Everything's blowing up. China's going to be next with Taiwan because of weakness. China's going to be next. What's going on? He said, bring Donald Trump back as president and it'll all stop. It'll all stop. He said it. And he said something else, and I wouldn't say it because I wouldn't really like the word. China was afraid of Donald Trump. Russia was afraid of Donald Trump. Everybody was afraid. I don't want to say that. I want to say they respected me. But the fact is, none of this stuff would be happening. None of it would be happening right now. We'd have a country that would be peaceful, prosperous. We would have had no inflation. Inflation was caused by energy. This stupid person, what he did with energy was that it went up 40, 50, 60%. That affects everything. Everything. If you make donuts, everything is more expensive. It's so bad. When you look at food prices now, where it's gone up by double and triple and quadruple, and you can never get that back, but we're going to get it way down, I promise you. And we're going to bring your energy so low. We're going to bring your energy prices so low that other things will follow. And that's what happened. It's very simple. Instead of trying to have corrupt prosecutors fight his battles, what he's doing, he's incompetent. And what he's doing, and it's not, I don't believe it's even him. I think it's the people that want to keep their jobs around him. They're communists. They want to keep their job because I don't think he has any clue. I don't think he has any clue. So listen. What we have a little look at this one. That's for him. It's slight. I call it slight. See the podium? I'm calling on crooked Joe Biden to debate anytime, anywhere, any place. Right there. And we have to debate because our country is going in the wrong direction so badly. And while it's a little bit typically early, we have to debate. We have to explain to the American people what the hell is going on, because they're looking at the border and they're looking at inflation and they're looking at the economy, which is terrible. They're looking at every single aspect of our country. They look at the fact that the world is laughing at our leader and laughing at us. And just 4 years ago was the exact opposite. We were the most respected country in the world. We were the most respected that we were ever respected. We were never more respected than we were 4 years ago. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs, that's all they are. They're weak thugs. They're so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. And all of this persecution of Donald Trump, I don't mind. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you. But all of this persecution is only happening because I'm running for president and leading very big in the polls. We're leading so big, they're going crazy. They are going crazy. In the Wall Street Journal, they just came out with a poll. We're leading big in a place called, have you ever heard of Pennsylvania? And nationwide, we're leading by 4 points, 6 points, 9 points, 11 points. We're leading by a lot. Now, they cheat, so we have to give ourselves a lead. They cheat like hell. And when you see them cheating, you get out there and start screaming. Start screaming. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor because I am being indicted for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never, ever, ever let them take away your freedom. I will not let it happen. That's what they're trying to do. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. And I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will be in their way. So job number one is going to be, and as soon as we take office, we will seal the border. Is that okay? And we're going to stop the invasion and send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. We had the safest border, the most secure border in the history of our country 4 years ago. The safest border in the history of our country. There are charts out that just came out from Homeland Security, if you can believe that. And I don't know where the hell your border is. Put it up instead of the back of my head. I'd love to have that chart. But it shows that the lowest number ever of illegal immigrants coming in was my last week in office before this very, very, very horrible president took over. You know, one thing good about it, though, Jimmy Carter's a nice man. Jimmy Carter looks like a brilliant president by comparison to crooked Joe Biden. Crooked Joe Biden, he is the worst. Jimmy Carter is a happy man. Oh, hey, that's a good staff. I didn't think that fine, that one. That's the one. See the arrow in the bottom? That's when exactly when I went, see the number? That's the lowest number in the history of our country the week that I went out. And then look at, after that, it looks like a rocket ship. It's a rocket ship of illegal immigrants and people that we have no idea where the hell they come from. People don't even know the names of the country. The people coming here don't even know the names of the country from which they came. And you see the right-hand side when it goes up? If you extend the chart a little bit, we could modernize it a little bit, add another 25%. There has never been anything like it. In Venezuela, violent crime is down 67% because they're taking their gangs and their thugs and their criminals and dumping them all across the United States of America. How about that? How about that? They're sending prisoners, murderers, drug dealers, mental patients, and terrorists, the worst anywhere in the world. These are the only thing good about their criminals is they make our criminals like nice people. Because our criminals, I think, are much nicer than their criminals. But, you know, people think, oh, isn't it wonderful? The migrants are flowing in. These migrants are coming from mental institutions, insane asylums. They're terrorists. They're coming from prisons and jails. There's a little difference. They're coming from prisons and jails by the millions. Are we crazy to take this? This man, what he has done, you know, I say it often. I say it at the rallies. This is a nice rally, by the way. This is a hell of a rally. I just heard there are 42,000. You know, we expected maybe, because it's freezing, right? It's freezing. I'm freezing my ass off up here. At least they could have given me a little bit of a heater underneath us. They gave me nothing. See, they take advantage. My own people take advantage of me. They gave me nothing. But it's one of those things, isn't it? But, you know, we expected maybe 10,000 people. We have 42,000 people tonight. 42,000. As far as the eye can see, I wish the fake news media would turn those cameras. Look at all those cameras. Wow. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. You know what? I wish they'd turn those cameras back, and all the way back as far as the eye can see, you have people, and I hate like hell to give them the prime spot, the media, because they don't deserve. Look where that goes back to. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. But they never turn the cameras. You know what? Even our so-called friends, I won't get into it, who's our so-called friend, they never turn the cameras. And I always thought, I'd say, please turn the camera, show the crowd. You'd think that would be good for, like for television purposes. Positive, they're showing these big crowds. They never want to show that we have these giant crowds because they don't like it, because they don't want us to win, because they're basically progressive. They don't use liberal anymore. They don't like the term. They call it progressive. I think progressive is a beautiful word, but it doesn't apply to them. It doesn't. It's too good a word. So we'll call them liberal. But they're liberal, and they don't want to do it. And you know what? I thought when I first started this, they wouldn't. I'd say, turn around and show the crowd, show the crowd, show the crowd. And look at all these cameras. So we had all these cameras from day one. We never had an empty seat. We literally, figuratively speaking, because we don't have too many seats, we have people standing. But we never had an empty spot. We never had an empty seat. I'd say, show the people behind you, show all the people. They wouldn't do it. And then a fight broke out in the darkest, deepest corner of the place, a fight. And those cameras turned around like a pretzel. They could do it. I thought they were just stuck. It was steel. The cameras turned around like a pretzel to show the fight, because that's a bad thing. But people are coming from the Congo. Last night, we had 20 people come. Welcome to our country from the Congo. Where do you live in the Congo? We live in prison. Oh, that's right. They released them from prison. I don't think they wanted to ask what they did, but they're coming in from Africa. Well, a lot of people coming in from Yemen. We're bombing Yemen because this idiot wants to bomb people. He likes to bomb people. You can solve the problem with a phone call if they respect you. They're coming from Somalia. They're coming from Syria. They're coming from all over the place. What is disconcerting, we have 31,000 people over the last few months, Mr. Congressman and Mr. Congress. We got a lot of great congressmen here tonight. We have senators, we have congressmen, we have governors, and it's so cold, I don't think I'm going to even introduce them. But think of it. They're coming in from China, 32,000 over the last few months, and they're all military age, and they mostly are men. And it sounds like to me, are they trying to build a little army in our country? Is that what they're trying to do? And Biden doesn't know because the guy doesn't have a clue. This is country changing. This is country threatening, and it's country wrecking. They're destroying our country. They're wrecking our country. As a citizen, I demand that Joe Biden close the border immediately. Close it. Close the border, Joe. You can do it. He doesn't need Congress. As president, I never had Congress tell me to close the border. I closed the border. Again, the best border, the safest border in the history of our country. I built 571 miles of wall. I got Mexico to give us thousands of soldiers free of charge to protect us while we were building the wall. We were going to add 200 miles of wall, and then we had a rigged election, and he took over. And you know what he did? He sold all of it. All you had to do is, it would have been done in 3 weeks. He sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. He sold our beautiful wall panels. People want our country. It's true, though. Can you imagine that? That's when I realized this guy actually believes. Think of the things they believe in. High taxes. They're going to quadruple your taxes. They're going to destroy your Social Security because all of these people putting in are going to make it impossible for them to service Social Security. You're not going to have Social Security. Biden is killing your Social Security and your Medicare. But think of little things like, for instance, he wants to have men play in women's sports, okay? Now, I don't use it. I mean, I think it's terrible, but I just say from a common sense, isn't it ridiculous? I'm always embarrassed when I say, and I will stop men from playing in women's sports. Who the hell would care? Did you see the weightlifting record the other day? I mean, I don't want to get into it. It's very demeaning to women, and I love women more than I love anything. I love women. But it's very demeaning. A record that stood for years and years. They couldn't beat it. They just couldn't do it. They'd put like a half an ounce on one side. They'd put a half an ounce of that barbell. And that woman got up and she's a champ and she couldn't do it. She just couldn't. And mom and dad, it was very sad. Mom and dad are in the front row, but they put a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. It was a world record, stood for a long time. And then what happened? The guy comes up who happened to change his gender, right? Gender, proper word, right? They said, have you lifted before? No, I haven't. Oh, well, give it a shot. He goes like this. Bing, 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 bing. I think he broke the record by 129 pounds, didn't he? Like 120. For years, they couldn't do an ounce. Half an ounce, half an ounce. They couldn't do an ounce. He broke the record by 129 pounds. Are we crazy? How about the swimmer? She's a world-class swimmer, and she was badly injured, as you know, badly, badly injured. She was a top swimmer. She grew up with the top swimmers all over California, all over the country. And she wanted to break that record. She was going to break it too. She was close. She looked left just before the whistle went off. She looked left, and there was people she's grown up with for 15 years. She swam against them. She looked right, and there were people for 15 years she swam against them. She knew every one of them. They were all good, but she was better. But then she looked to her very right here, and there was this giant human being. A man who about 3 weeks before was a man. But now he's a woman. And she was seriously injured. You know why, right? Because he went by her so fast that the wind burn was just more than she could take. They immediately took her to the hospital. She suffered massive wind burn from the speed at which he went by her. And she was trying to break the record by 1/10 of 1 second. He broke the record by 37 seconds. Are we crazy? Is it crazy? Really? Just this week, it was reported that an illegal alien, and you just look at this, what's happening, but it was reported that an illegal alien migrant from Afghanistan who's on the terror watch list was released into the United States along with many other terrorists by crooked Joe Biden, despite being a member of a terrorist group which is responsible for the slaughter of American troops in Afghanistan. He was looked for all over the world. They're looking for him. And he's in our country now when we're looking for him. Isn't that wonderful? He should never have been here. You know, I had a report that came out recently, and it was on, I think it was on Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. But I think it was Deface the Nation or Meet the Fake Press. And it showed charts. And it actually had I think it was 2019. That was one of my years. Terrorists into our nation, 0. It actually said 0. I don't even believe that. I mean, I want to believe it, but that's hard to believe, right? But it actually said 0. And then you go on to 2021, 2022, and they had thousands of people pouring in, terrorists. But it actually said 2019, 0. I don't believe that, but I know it was very low because we really watched it closely. We watched it like nobody has ever watched it, and I was very proud of that. It's probably the only time they ever said anything that was actually better than the fact, right? Right here in eastern Pennsylvania, you had an illegal alien criminal who murdered a woman in Chester County, stabbing her 38 times in front of her 7-year-old daughter and her 4-year-old son. A violent criminal. He was a violent person. Then in September, that same illegal alien escaped from Chester County Prison and prowled through suburban communities. You all know about him. Hiding in backyards, breaking into homes until he was found with a stolen gun, and he was ready to do massive damage all over your community. Joe Biden's border bloodbath. That's what it is. It's a bloodbath, a word that they misrepresented. His border bloodbath ends the day I take the oath of office. We will stop the plunder, the rape, the slaughter, the destruction of American suburbs and cities and towns. We will end deadly sanctuary cities. You know, the Democrat mayors want to all end them, but they don't want to, really take on because they end up getting indicted. They go after these people. When they go against DC establishment, they end up getting indicted. So the Democrat mayors don't like sanctuary cities, but they're afraid to get indicted. I will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement. We will enforce our immigration laws stricter and stronger than anybody has ever done, including me. We will impose a naval blockade on the cartels. You know, when we stopped them on land, they're very rich. They had ships, the most beautiful ships you've ever seen. I mean, these guys are loaded, nothing but cash, and they were having boats and ships on the ocean. On the ocean, the Gulf, come in through different ways. They're very ingenious. The only thing they understand is strength. They understand strength, and it'll all stop. You know, when I met with President Xi of China, I said, do you have a drug problem? No, we have no drug problem. Why is that? Quick trial. I said, tell me about a quick trial. When they catch the seller of drugs, right, the purveyor of drugs, they immediately give them, the drug dealers, they immediately give them a trial. Takes one day. At the end of that day, if they're guilty, which they always are, according to people that study this, I don't think anybody has never been guilty. Within one day, that person is executed. They execute the drug dealers. They have zero drug problem. Zero. They have zero drug problem in Singapore and other places. Instead, we set up blue ribbon committees made of dilettantes from all over the country that know nothing about the genius, the evil genius of these drug lords that are taking us for a ride, and the cartels that are making billions and billions of dollars because Joe Biden is a stupid person. We have a president who's a stupid person. On day one, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. So we're pleased to be joined on this extremely beautiful but little chilly, but chilly, this is not bad. When I won the primary in Iowa, we won in a record. By the way, on the primaries, every single primary, we won in the record numbers that have never been gotten before. From Iowa to New Hampshire, we won the caucuses, the Iowa caucuses, in double the margin that had ever been won before. We won New Hampshire, the largest number of votes ever gotten in the primary. Now think of this, Republican or Democrat. Now you had Kennedy up there. You know, it's a little area for the Kennedys, and others. We got more votes than anybody has ever gotten in New Hampshire. We went to Nevada. We went all over. We went to South Carolina. We beat a certain governor there by so much. So much. You know, I'm the only one that can absolutely beat somebody by numbers that are unbelievable. And they say, and set a record in doing it. It was a record. And then I have to hear, he should have done better. Should have done better. In Nevada, we set the record. We set the record in every single state. So I'm very honored by it. And it's really great. Really great. You know what bothers me, though? This bothers me. I'm always watching. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are the two candidates. They are both very unpopular people. I'm not unpopular. You know, he is unpopular. But I am not unpopular. With 95% in the Republican Party, and a lot of Democrats are going to vote for us because they don't want to have open borders and drugs for everybody, okay? They don't want to have it. They don't want to have a nation that's not respected and wars that take place. Thank you.
We want Trump! 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 We want Trump!
Thank you.
We want
Thank you. But do you ever hear it? Joe Biden and Donald Trump are two very unpopular people. I'm not, and in all fairness to this guy, I mean, I don't get it because he can't speak. He can't walk. He almost fell out of a helicopter the other day. I mean, there's only 4 stairs. He held on for dear life. Oh, thank goodness. Those 2 fingers were just strong enough to hold him. But, you know, in all fairness to him, he beat all the competition. He beat it. Now, they did things that aren't, what they did to Kennedy was terrible. They did what they did. That's what they do. They're fascists, okay? But what they did was terrible. But he did beat the competition. He did it, I think, probably unfairly, just like they cheated on the last election. But they did beat the competition. But I'm really popular. And I'm popular not necessarily. I think I have a nice personality. What do you think? I think so. And it's not terrible. Our great First Lady said, I can't imagine why they think you're not a nice person. She might be kidding when she says that. I don't know. But I get these levels of I'm popular. Ronald Reagan was at 86%. Donald Trump is at 95%. That's popular, right? So why do these thugs and these fake news people, and there's so many cameras back there, I can't believe, that's a lot of cameras. But you know what? Whenever I start talking about them, the cameras go off because I start talking about how bad they are. They're less popular than Congress. Can you believe that? And speaking of Congress, but we have great ones. We only deal with the great ones. And we have great people here that love our country, and they're members of Congress. Dan Muser, Dan. Lloyd Schmucker. Lloyd, where is Lloyd? He's around here someplace. Lloyd, where are you? Yes? Hi, Lloyd. These are great people. Former congressman, he was a great congressman, Fred Keller. Where's Fred? Hi, Fred. Are you cold in there? You don't have a coat? He's all man, that guy. I'd like to do that too, but I just refuse to freeze. I love these guys. Well, Mike Kelly, he used to come up with just an undershirt on. It would be like 2 degrees out. But he's a very special guy. Mike Kelly. What a great guy. State Treasurer Stacey Garrity. Whoa. Beautiful, beautiful person. She's a beautiful person. State Senator Jarrett Coleman. Jarrett. Where's Jarrett? Hi, Jarrett. Good job you're doing. State Representative Zach Mako. And Mulo McKenzie. And we have a special person with us tonight. RNC chairman, just newly installed. He's a tough cookie. He's going to stop voter theft. He's going to steal the vote. He's going to stop the steal. We have lots of different. The bottom line is we don't need any votes. We have all the votes. What we need is on election day, which unfortunately is now called election period because some of these things go 48 days. What the hell are they doing for 48 days? You know what they're doing? They're stealing the vote. But this guy was the head of the Republican Party in North Carolina, and North Carolina was solid. It wasn't like Pennsylvania. It wasn't like other places that went at the very end when all those votes came in late or early in the morning. Remember, we won Pennsylvania. We were up like by hundreds of thousands of votes. And then all of a sudden, and we all know what happened. But it didn't happen in North Carolina, and it's not going to happen in Pennsylvania, and it's not going to happen in Georgia this time. It's not going to happen. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley. Michael. Great job, Michael. That was like he had 600 lawyers working for him, and there was nobody tougher on Stop the Steal. And thank you also to our super volunteers, Mike O'Hare and Al Smith, Bob Smith, and Jessica Ware. They've been unbelievable, the job they've done from day one. And they've been with me. And they said, we've never seen enthusiasm like this time. The one said, Jessica said, in 2016, it was good, really good. It was incredible. It was like a happening. 2020 was just as good and maybe even better, sir. This blows both of them away. And I think it's true. Because you know what? You look at this crowd, which you can't see the end of it, but you look at this crowd, and in all fairness, we're 6.5 months away from, that's a long time. Most of these candidates on the night before the election would have a crowd that would be their largest crowd, and they wouldn't have anywhere near the people that we have right now. We're 6.5 months away. I wish we could move the election to Tuesday. Is there anything we can do? I want to move the election to Tuesday. In the UK, they can pick their election. They say, we're going to have the election next week. I want to be able to do that. Would that be possible? From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. In my first 4 years, I kept my promise to Pennsylvania, and we ended the disaster known as NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, that's Mexico, Canada, the best trade deal, they say, ever made for our country. And frankly, I know it's good because Mexico and Canada want to redo it. They want to renew it, and they want it changed. And crooked Joe Biden will probably do it. How much? How much? Give me a couple of $1 million. I'll get it done. How much will it take to get crooked Joe? Don't change the USMCA. They took advantage of us with NAFTA for years. Don't change it. Don't change it. They have to have it. But it's always nice when you make a deal and they want to change it. I took on communist China like no administration in history, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars, pouring into our treasury. When no other president had gotten even 10 cents, China gave no other president 10 cents. I also gave $28 billion out of that money. I gave it to our farmers. And I put powerful tariffs on foreign aluminum and foreign steel, which kept the steel industry in our country going and vibrant. But now Biden is changing that. We're going to end up with no steel industry with this guy. Can you imagine? We're in a war and we need steel to build our ships and build our tanks, and we don't have any. You're in a war with China. And we need, because you see what's going on today, we're very close. We're very close to a world war. We're in a war with China, and we need steel. So our guys, Joe Biden will call China. Listen, could any deal? Can we make a deal? Can we have some steel? We have to build army tanks to protect us from you. This is where we are. Our country is sick. Our country is sick. We're like a house that's burning down. And it all happened over the last 3 years. And we've got to turn it around. We love our country. We've got to turn it around. We've got to turn it around fast. Under Biden, U.S. Steel is being, so think of this, United States Steel Company, one of the great companies of the world 50 years ago, is being sold to Japan. Congratulations, Japan. U.S. Steel is being sold to Japan. In my next term, you love that one, don't you? Who would believe that? U.S. Steel. I would not let that deal go through. In my next term, I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If China or any other country makes us pay a tariff or tax of 100 or 200%, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200%. And you know what that is, basically? You screw us and we screw you. And then everybody is even. And you know what happens? There's no tax because everyone says, just forget it. We will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. Biden can't do that. As president, I kept that promise, and I will keep it once again. I didn't touch your Social Security or your Medicare. And there were plenty of Democrats that said, do it. We're not doing it. You know, we have liquid gold under our feet, so much so that we don't have to do things that people think. We have more liquid gold, oil, gas, a lot of things, coal. You know, coal fires up the plants. Do you know that China right now is building a massive coal plant every single week? They're opening up a coal plant every single week while we struggle with wind. Where's the wind? You know the other problem? We can't get the windmills. You know why? They're made in China. China says, don't worry about America. We'll give them. But wind doesn't work anyway. It's too expensive. It doesn't work. Kills all your birds. If you'd like to see a nice bird cemetery, walk under a windmill sometime. You'll see more dead birds than anything. You know, if you shoot an American eagle like a bald eagle, they put you in jail for 5 years. But the windmill, they kill them by the thousands. You know that, right, Mr. Congressman? They kill them by the thousands. So we're very off as a country. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, it's we. I will have the horrible war. That's right. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I will settle it, and I will and I'm the only one that can say this because these other people have no clue. I will prevent World War III. And remember, World War III would be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons and many other types of weapons that are at a level that nobody can even imagine. You don't even want to talk about it. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to work with Democrat mayors and Democrat governors if we have to, but we're going to rebuild our cities because our cities are going to hell. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, and rebuild our capital city so that it's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. Do you see the crime that's going on in Washington, our beautiful Washington, D.C.? People are being murdered all the time. They come from Pennsylvania and they want to go and see our capital, and they get murdered. So much crime, so much horrible, violent crime. But rather, it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. We're going to clean it up and we're going to make it safe so our congressmen can walk into that wonderful place. That should be a wonderful place. And right now it looks like hell. It's filthy dirty with graffiti all over the place, garbage all over the streets, roads with potholes. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, or other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And as I very embarrassingly said before, I will keep men out of women's sports, okay? And I will fully uphold our great Second Amendment, which is so important. You know, for 4 years, despite tremendous efforts by the Democrats on the Second Amendment, we didn't budge an inch. We didn't budge an inch, and I think you all know that. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and we will do it quickly, and I will secure our elections. We're going to end up paper ballots, same-day voting, and voter ID. Our goal will be that we want to have paper ballots. We want to have proof of citizenship. We want now, because, you know, they have all these people coming in. We want proof of citizenship. It's very important. But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide that is too big to rig. If you get the numbers, too big to rig. I love these people. Look, they're huddled together. They're huddled together. It's freezing out here. They're huddled together. I love it. It's freezing. I hope they know each other. Do those people, they're so close. I hope you're related. I don't know if they are. I think that he'd never met her in his life. And his wife is sitting right over here. This is not a good situation. This is politically unacceptable, sir. I have to call you out. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done, the worst president in history. So if you want to save America, then get everyone you know, register them, register Republican, and vote. The Pennsylvania primary is Tuesday, April 23rd. Go out and vote. And you know, sir, you know what? Somebody that you have to vote for. All our congressmen are in great shape, right, Dan? I think you're in great shape. All of them are in great shape. Everybody, they've all got. But I am officially giving my endorsement to David McCormick tonight. He's a good man. He wants to run a good ship. He's a smart guy. He was a very successful guy. He's given up a lot to do this. And I'll tell you what, he's the nominee of the Republican Party. David McCormick, go out and vote for him because Casey doesn't do a damn thing. I tell you, he doesn't do a thing. So go out and vote for him. Sign up, volunteer for our campaign, and let's win big in November. In conclusion, together, we are taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. They are vicious and they are horrible. But no matter how hateful and corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right. Your God-given right. From Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, from Easton to Bethlehem, and from Johnstown to Allentown, we stand on the shoulders of American legends who poured out their blood, sweat, and tears for our rights and for our freedoms. And it's been a very rough period of time. I'll tell you what, for this country, it's never had. I don't think our country has ever been so low. But we're going to change it. We're going to get numbers like nobody's ever seen. I think we're going to swamp them. And this isn't drain the swamp. We're going to swamp them. We're also going to drain the swamp. It's a double swamp. Pennsylvania is where our founding fathers declared American independence. So much history. I mean, you have so much history here. Just think of it. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter. We're sort of weathering it right now, but I don't think. Theirs was much worse. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge, where General George Washington led his men on a daring mission across the Delaware, and where our Union was saved by the immortal heroes at Gettysburg. Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was, the Battle of Gettysburg. What an unbelievable, I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch. And the statement of Robert E. Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting, never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late. And this is the state where generations of tough, strong Pennsylvania miners, factory workers, and steel workers forged the greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, willpower, and strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. 3 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. And remember, it was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it's hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. 2024 is our final battle. That is our final battle. We are either going to have a great nation again or we're going to have a failed nation. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will drain the swamp, and we will liberate our country from these tyrants and villains once and for all. They are tyrants, they are villains, and they hate our country. Like those patriots before us, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield. We will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never, ever, ever, ever back down. With your support, we will go on to victory, the likes of which no one has ever seen. And we will evict crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, from the White House on November 5th, 2024. And that date will go down as the most important day in American history. I believe that because we're ready to be a failed nation. We're a failed nation right now. The great silent majority is rising like never before. And under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. It wasn't forgotten 4 years ago, I can tell you that. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you. There is absolutely nothing here. There is no misdemeanor. There is no felony. There is no federal crime. Every American is in danger.
It's interesting. Trump just said this is the weakest criminal case he said in his 60 years. But I'm pretty sure he's older than 60 years old. Just a little. But the reason as to why your eyes saw what they saw, there's no other explanation other than what I just said. Because as the moon was getting in front of the sun, it should have been lit up by the sun. But it wasn't. Flat Earth explains it pretty well. Bible explains it pretty well. Next question, please. Will credit unions be affected? Yes. Credit unions are also insured by the FDIC. Credit unions, banks, no one's safe from the fall of the cabal. Nobody, except gold and silver accounts. Next question. Do you expect an election next week? No. I wish. No. So the process for that will be Supreme Court first. Announcement. And then special election probably within 2 weeks of that, maybe even a week. We're ready to vote. We don't need any debates. We don't need anything else. We could vote now. Especially knowing that there's fraud in the Oval Office right now. And therefore the rest of the State Department. Are you related to the Kennedys? I'm not going to answer that question right now. Was Speaker Johnson being blackmailed? Johnson's doing what he's told to do. I do agree that there's some confusion in Johnson's role right now, but it'll all come together. Don't you worry about that. Is Klaus Schwab dead? Yes, Klaus Schwab is dead. How on earth could Trump have said cup and handle? Maybe he watched my live stream. I don't know. Try your own conclusions. Is it too late to buy silver or gold? No. I think it's going to be too late when you start to see the price approach 50 for silver and 3,000 for gold. Once it hits those thresholds, it's going to skyrocket daily. You may see it double over the course of a couple days daily for many weeks straight. And I don't know how many people could actually afford it then. So you have a window. First of all, your ignorance is bliss, because if you haven't yet invested in it and you don't own any and you haven't rolled over a 401k or an IRA and you haven't signed up for Phil Silver or any of that, that's being naive. And I understand, like, if you have a spouse that just won't go for it, but now what do you say about it now? I mean, now there's no excuse. The writing is on the wall, and I understand if you didn't heed the warning in the last year or 2 or 3 that I've been talking about this, but for crying out loud, Trump's advertising. Rollovers. A little late to the party, Don. Just kidding. Don't get mad. Many of us live paycheck to paycheck. I get that. Listen, gold and silver is not going to be for everybody. So when I say those things, I don't expect you to, like, not eat and buy silver or gold instead. I get that. If you're in that situation, you can't buy gold and silver. Don't buy. It's not even in your best interest to do so. But if you have extra money, as in a savings account, a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, or anything like that, and you don't do it, that's naive and ignorant. Everything's right in front of your face. And then if something happens and the bottom falls out of your bank and you lose your money, what are you going to say? Who are you going to blame? The only person you could blame is you. Now, if your 401k or your IRA or your retirement account is locked and you can't move it over, you'll be okay. You'll be protected. You'll be okay in that case. But if it's not, and you can roll it over and don't, the onus is on you. It's not on anyone else. So. Sarah Hops. You mentioned scrambled eggs. Scram equals safety controlled rod axe man. I can't stop this from scrolling up. It's an emergency shutdown on a nuclear reactor. Were you pointing us to Trino, Italy? I've been pointing you to Trino, Italy in a couple different ways, shape, and forms for months now, I believe. And scrambled eggs was one little reference, but that had something else too. It wasn't just for that. A lot of things that I put a lot of time and effort and thought into to do like a specific live about eggs and how to cook them. Like I don't just do that because I think it's fun. Yeah. Dinar Dong Monday. I don't know. None of that's a question. Those are 3 words with question marks after them. How am I supposed to interpret what the heck you're talking about? Don't worry about the price of silver and gold. Tesla has free energy. My IQ just dropped 30 points. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean even? I can't understand. Can you explain to $800 million silver short? Yeah, pretty simple. I said it earlier in the show. When silver goes up $1 spot price per ounce, Bank of America loses $800 million. And that's because of all of the shorts that Bank of America has in silver. So a short is when you look at when you take a stock, pick a stock. Let's just call it, let's say Tesla stock. You could either invest in Tesla stock and you could buy into it for the long term, right? If the stock goes up, you make money. That's investing in stock. That's how it works. The opposite of that is doing a short. Anybody ever watch The Big Short? Watch it. This group of guys got together and shorted the housing market. You couldn't even do that. Like you can't short a market. But the banks were like, why the hell would you want to short it? Okay, we'll make you an instrument so you could short it. Here you go. How much money you want to give us? Like they were eager to do it. So they put hundreds of millions of dollars into these shorts, and they ended up walking away with billions of dollars because the banking industry did collapse. Similar to that, that's what the major banks are, especially Bank of America. They're most exposed and they can't get out of it. They have shorted silver for years and years and years. So they're betting that silver goes down. Now, here's the thing. If it goes up, you lose a lot. It is a very dangerous bet to short a stock because if that stock goes down, you have to pay dividends. So in this case, Bank of America is so overexposed in silver that they lose $800 million for every $1 spot price that it goes up. You know what also drives up the price of silver and gold for that matter? When you buy it. So the more you roll over and the more you buy, you are contributing to the downfall of the banking system. And boy, nobody deserves it more than them, especially the central banks. When is Josh Shapiro going down? I don't know when, but Josh Shapiro, I believe, will end up in jail for a few different things. But will Canada join BRICS? I think everybody is going to participate in NESARA GESARA, and I think BRICS is just the front for those for those names. So NESARA GESARA is plotting itself out in the form of bricks right now. So we call it bricks, but in reality, it's Nicera Gicera. So I think worldwide, I think every country in the world is going to participate in Gicera. Why wouldn't they? So yes, the answer is. Is Cape Middleton dead? Yeah, I believe Cape Middleton's dead. The circumstances for which I can't yet talk about, but I will talk about them when I'm able. Do you know if Megyn Kelly is Nicole Brown Simpson? I don't know that to be a fact. I do see the striking resemblance, though, but I don't have any intel into that. What I do know is OJ did not kill Nicole or Ron Goldman. OJ was complicit in covering up their murders. And the reason why he was complicit is because OJ came home that night to find Nicole and Ron dead in his home. And his son was there, and his son did it. And all evidence points to exactly what I just said. All evidence in that entire case points to two people being there, from the footprints to the gloves to the blood on both sides of the vehicle, both sides of the Bronco, to the hairs that were found in the car. All evidence points to two people. And if you look close enough at that evidence, it points to OJ's son. And if you know OJ's relationship with his son, you would know that OJ would cover up a murder from his son and gladly go to prison for his son if needed. And that's exactly what he was willing to do. I think OJ was just as surprised that OJ got off that all of us were. But it was a risk he had to take because he was not going to watch his son go to jail for life. The circumstances surrounding that night were something like this. OJ's son had just got a job as a chef in one of the popular restaurants in the what the hell was the name of that area they lived in? Started with a B. Bradenwood, something like that. But anyway, he just got a really big promotion, top chef at this restaurant. And Nicole and her family were supposed to go to his restaurant that night. He had it all set up. He was very proud of his promotion. And Brentwood, there it is, Brentwood. Yep. So he was very proud of this promotion. He had it all set up for the family to come, and there was supposed to be like 20, 25 in them. It wasn't only Nicole and her family, but it was also the Kardashians and a couple other families that they were really good friends with. And, you know, the invites went out, and he put a lot into this. And he was telling all of his colleagues and all of his friends that my family's coming. And he had a whole menu planned out and everything planned out perfectly for the family. And Nicole didn't really like OJ's son too much. And Nicole kind of got everyone to go to a different place. OJ's son was a hothead, just like OJ was. Now, listen, I'm not defending OJ. OJ got into a lot of domestic violence things, which is one of the reasons he got arrested in the first place. He was also there. He knew of the murders, couldn't do anything. He walked in after it was already done. But when Nicole slighted OJ's son, he left his job and went home that night. And Ron Goldberg, she wasn't doing anything with Ron. Like, they weren't like sneaking around or anything like that. Nicole literally forgot something in Ron's restaurant, and Ron returned it to her. I don't know if it was a pair of glasses or a wallet or something. And bad luck for Ron. Ron ended up going to Brentwood, to Nicole's house, because I think it was a wallet or something with her address. And Ron went there, and while Ron was there to return the wallet, in comes OJ's son. OJ recognized Ron from the competing restaurant and lost his shit and killed two people. After they were dead, which didn't take very long, the fit of rage that OJ's son went into, he nearly decapitated Nicole, cut her at the neck, and literally all the way back to it. Her head was just hanging by a thread. After his rage subsided, OJ's son kind of just collapsed to the ground and sat there. He knew his life was over. He knew there was no getting out of it. And OJ showed up. Well, OJ's got some pull, and OJ's got some money. And the first thing that OJ thought of was, well, how do I get my kid out of here? What do I do? And he did the best he could. He didn't do a great job. He did the best he could. I think he raised enough reasonable doubt at trial to confuse a jury. And, you know, Mark Furman obviously didn't help anything with his racist comments, especially in that period. You know, you make a racist comment as a lead detective in the case, that's going to taint the jury. It's going to make it bad. You know, you're gonna have a really hard time getting a unanimous verdict in a murder trial then. So interesting testimony in that trial from Cato Kalin. Cato Kalin said he heard two men arguing. One was OJ, and one was not Ron Goldman. He said there was another male. That kind of got swept under the rug at trial because even the prosecution didn't want to hear that. Right? Because now they got OJ on trial, and oh boy, second minute, they just completely got rid of that real quick. But it was OJ's son. You know, interestingly enough, the black hat that was found on the scene, the black knitted hat, the winter hat, OJ's son is seen in several pictures on social media at that time. It wasn't on social media, but it was like photographs, right? That ended up on social media, ended up circulating, even on the news. OJ's son was seen wearing that exact hat in several photos, which was also the hat that he wore the night that he killed Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. Another thing is there were dog hairs found, golden retriever dog hairs found embedded in that black hat. Well, OJ didn't have a dog, not a golden retriever. OJ's son did. And ironically, OJ's son is actually seen in photographs wearing the black hat with the golden retriever. But the prosecution didn't want to talk about any of that at trial because it points to someone else that's not OJ. And they needed OJ. Because OJ was black and he killed two white people and the race thing was going down at the time. Johnny Cochran comes in as the savior and white, black, light black, you know? Why can't we just find who did it? Why does race have to get somebody off of something or convict somebody of something? It's just disgustingly ridiculous is what it is. Can't we just like figure out what the truth is and then go from there? Why do we have to have a predisposed position as to what the truth is based on race or based on hate? And that's what the cabal has done to us over the years. But OJ Simpson took that secret to his grave. Why? Because his son is still alive. Now that OJ's dead, I would not be surprised if you see OJ's son do it again. I don't know if he's changed since then. But you know, they say murderers don't change. When your dad's around, though, maybe that's different. But the whole Bronco chase, that was to OJ wanted it to seem like he was guilty. OJ wanted the eyes on him. OJ wanted people to think that he was running because he was guilty to take the heat off of his son. And I got news for you. In the same exact situation with one of my sons, Colton or Preston, committing those murders, I would do the same damn thing 100 times out of 100. The only mistake that OJ made was he didn't get his kid out of the country. I would have did that. Because if the evidence ever did point to my kid, he's out of the country now. You're not getting him. He would be somewhere with no extradition. $100 times out of 100. And if that makes me a bad person, well, I'll go to jail for the murder. I don't care. That's fine. I'll do that. I'll go to jail. I would 1,000,000% go to jail before I saw one of my kids go to jail. If I was given such an option, and OJ did. OJ was given the option, and he took it. So would I. I'd do anything for my boys. Anything. I don't care what they did wrong. I would hope that I could change them and hope that I could get them out of a situation and hope that it was a mistake. And if they do it again and I don't have any control over that, then they have to pay the price for it. But if I have control over it and I could take the heat for them off of them 100 times out of 100, absolutely no doubt, no hesitation whatsoever, ever. No matter how old they are, no matter anything. Even if we're estranged, I would still do it. No hesitation whatsoever. And that's OJ. Now, OJ had his faults. OJ was a violent person. OJ was a cocky person. But he didn't kill 2 people that night. He didn't kill anyone. So. Phil said Scott didn't do it. I'm assuming you're talking about Scott Peterson. Scott didn't kill Stacy and the newborn baby or the unborn baby. Mm-mm. You guys don't see what happened in that case? They couldn't find Stacy for a while. And then the media said, and there's more than this too. There's the lady walking the dog, which, we'll talk about that another time. But the media said that the police, the investigators said to the media, we're checking out in this area over here by the ocean because we know Scott was there. You said that to the media? Wait a minute. What did I say? Stacy? I meant Lacey, yeah. So the investigators tell the media that they're looking in this certain area off the coast of wherever that Scott was that day. They came out and they told that to the media. They hadn't found Stacy yet, Lacey yet, or the unborn baby. They hadn't found her yet, but they told the media where they were looking. 2 days later, you know what they found? Stacy's body. So you told them where you were looking, and then in 48 hours, you found the body? So whoever had the body could just go dump it in that area? Talk about a frame. Why would investigators tip off the media as to where they think she might be? You don't do that. Because whoever actually had her, which wasn't Scott, by the way, Scott's whole day that day is completely clear. And that's a whole different conversation. By the way, after Scott left, with supposedly Lacey in his truck, before going to this on his fishing trip, somebody saw Lacey walking the dog. Why didn't that ever get into trial? Somebody saw Lacey and said, hi, Lacey, and they had a brief little encounter after Scott left. And then when they can't find her body, and none of the evidence is pointing to Scott, they release to the media where they're searching. And then miraculously, 2 days later, they find Lacey's body there. They didn't find it for 2 days. In fact, they pulled the crew, the search crew from that area because they were searching for 2 days. Whoever had her body, whoever killed her, put her there because that's what the media said. Again, another rush to judgment. You don't know who did it. You're probably not going to figure out who did it. So let's say it was Scott. The guy is an innocent man in jail. Was he a great husband? No. Wasn't a great husband. Does he deserve to be in jail? No. But this is what they do. This is what the media does. This is what it's despicable. It's despicable. And guess what? Scott's getting a new trial. And guess what? He's going to get off. And I don't mean that in the sense that he's going to get off because he got off, because he's got money, because he's OJ, because he afforded the dream team. No, he didn't do it. Thank goodness OJ got off because he didn't do it either. Now, he was guilty of covering up a murder. So I think karma got him in that sense, right? Because he ended up going to prison anyway for, the kidnapping or whatever it was. Those people stole his merchandise and he said, mother effers, you sit right there until I get my shit back. Kidnapping. But they wanted him in jail, so they got him in jail. But he put that up as karma, I guess. But for crying out loud, somebody saw Lacey 2 hours after Scott left the house. And then by the time Scott got back, Lacey had already been reported missing. It could not have been Scott Peterson. Those are just two things. There's many others. But unless you know those two things, the others don't even matter. Crazy. We'll take one more. It's getting late. Oh, don't even get me started on the Stephen Avery case. I mean, I think Netflix proved that he was innocent, and I feel really bad for Brandon Dassey because he's a kid, and what they did to that kid is disgusting and despicable, and it makes me literally foam at the mouth even thinking about it. So I'm not even going to get started with that. I'll take one more good question. See what we can find here. Not that they're all not good because they are, but. Is the Lord Rothschild created country in 1948, known as Israel, another cabal deception? If so, is there another land mass country known by another name, which is really called Israel? That's a deep one, 98C. It's gonna be the last question for the night. I've referenced this before, and I've said that Israel, Egypt, and a lot of the land masses that are referred to in the Bible are actually not in the Middle East at all, but are in the United States. And what was created in 1948 by the Rothschild family is nothing but a holding area for the cabal, a playground, so to speak, for the cabal where they could show their military might and launder all their money and traffic all of their children and humans and whatever else they want to do. And they created that place in the Middle East and they called it Israel. But there is very startling evidence to show that Israel is not actually geographically where they say it is, and where it actually is right where we live. It's pretty scary when you think about all of the deception that we've been through. From Israel and the central banking system, flat earth, free energy. When you start putting it all together, you could actually get pretty depressed pretty quickly. But there's only one way to change it, and I'll leave you guys with that tonight. There's only one way to change it, and that way is to spread what we're talking about here. By the way, in terms of spreading, please, if you're still watching on Rumble and the audience keeps going up, so I don't even know why I'm quitting right now, but probably because Trump's done speaking. But click the thumbs up button on Rumble. That helps with the algorithm, and it does spread the video. Please do that. And if you could, please share this video on social media. I think there were a lot of good proofs tonight that make me look rather credible. Sometimes I throw those out there. Like I said the other night on Jeremy's show, though, I don't like to be too braggadocious about that kind of stuff. I'll drop them in every now and then to show you guys that I'm the real thing, but I don't like to be, ha ha ha, I knew it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do that because it feels good sometimes, but I don't do it all the time. But the only way to stop what's been happening for the last couple hundred years is by people like us, people like me, sitting in front of this camera and this microphone and telling you all the things that I know of and hoping that you'll do the same to people that you know, whether it's family or friends or social media followers, sharing of a video, liking a video to help with the algorithm, whatever it may be. You know, that's the only way to change it, because it's not ever going to change because you want it to. We need action. We need action in order to change the path that we've been forced down. We need more people to start eating the French toast and not settling for the crappy pancakes that are a day old. And that's people like you. And the more confidence you get, maybe the more money that you make, maybe that makes you confident. Maybe the more like-minded individuals you come across, like those on my Telegram channel, those in the Rumble chat, whatever it may be, maybe that makes you more confident. Maybe that gets you to stand up more and start speaking your mind and opening your mind and learning these things about how much deception we've actually been through for as long as we've been through it. That's how we do it. Love you guys. Have a good night. Don't know when my next live is going to be. I know it won't be tomorrow or Monday, but sometime next week. So it'll be a little bit slow over a week next week, maybe 1 or 2 lives. Not sure yet, but I'll keep you posted. Love you guys. Have a good night. I will see you soon.
Are you tired of all the pills in your medicine cabinet? I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the creator of the Wave Watch, a more natural approach with 1,000 frequencies for mind and body. You've got to hear some testimonies from people just like you. I absolutely love this Wave Watch. It has helped me with occasional aches, cramps in my muscles. I twisted my knee a month ago, and the Wave Watch has helped tremendously with the pain while healing. And how about this one from Debbie in Colorado? My left leg was hurt bad enough that I would cry when walking to the doctor. Doctor appointments are $170 and chiropractic sessions were $45 many times for the last 2 years. My hands and neck are stiff. My leg quit throbbing within 5 minutes of the session for bursitis, and 2 hours later, still no pain. Are you tired of all your pills and endless trips to the pharmacy? Why not try the Wave Watch with 1,000 different self-care ideas and put your mind at ease? It's the world's first sound frequency therapy watch. Wave Watch is not connected to the internet. There are no messy cords and patches. There's no monthly fee. It's very simple, easy self-care. And best of all, people are comparing it, saying it's like a med bed on your wrist.
To order your Wave Watch, go to wavewatch.com and be sure to use the discount code Nancy100 at checkout to receive $100 off your order today.